Today on Monkey Life, the team are in Lebanon on a rescue mission to pick up a very lonely chimp.
Good girl. She's got no company, she hasn't got any space.
But they hit problems when they realise they can't get her out of the cage.
You're going to be really angry with me when I take this with a big hammer.
And overweight orangutan O'Sheen is a surprise star pupil.
Good girl.
Monkey World is based in the English county of Dorset. It's home to more than 240 monkeys and apes and is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. Dr. Alison Cronin and her team dedicate their lives to rescuing and rehabilitating primates from all over the world.
She's up and alert and she looks brilliant.
Lebanon has been at the centre of many bloody wars in the Middle East. Today, the country is politically unstable and peace is fragile. Alison, animal director Jeremy Keeling and wildlife vet John Lewis have flown 2,000 miles from the UK to the capital Beirut to rescue a chimp called Kiki and take her back to the park.
It's first morning in Beirut, actually lovely day, and hopefully that's good foreboding because we're off to see Kiki for the very first time today. So we'll be interested to see exactly how big she is. I've only seen photographs so far. And try and make a plan because when we move her, it's going to be very, very early in the morning and still dark. So taking John and Jeremy over to see her, we can size up the situation, see what she's like. Is she friendly? Is she going to let us inject her willingly? All of these questions remain to be answered. So we're sort of excited to get over there and see her.
A number of organisations have tried to rescue Kiki over the last few years, but have failed. However, after several months of discussions, Alison has now managed to convince Kiki's owners that she would be better off at Monkey World.
Oh, there she is. Hello, Kiki. Hello, you.
This cage was built for Kiki when she was just 2 years old. At first, her owners let her out to play, but after a couple of years, she became too boisterous, so has been confined to the cage ever since.
Would you like something? I did, I brought you some treats. Well, first of all, an orange. Would you like an orange? Oh, would you like one? What's he got? Good girl.
Alison, Jeremy and John will need to gain Kiki's trust before they can attempt to move her.
Overall, general health, she appears great. She has been getting vet care. And she seems pretty calm and happy. She took an orange off me earlier. How you doing, sweetheart? And she's looking pretty good. We just now need to get all of our plans together for the day of the move.
Kiki was originally smuggled from the wild in Africa. In countries like Sierra Leone, it's not uncommon for adult chimps to be killed and their babies stolen. They're crammed into tiny boxes and then exported and sold on the black market. Many of the chimps at the park are the victims of this illegal trade. Kiki's owners bought her when she was very young, so she's never really experienced life with other chimps.
It would be so easy for an animal in this situation to be obese. You know, she's got no company, she hasn't got any space for exercise or anything, but she looks fine. She really does look fine, and she looks actually quite well adjusted as well. It isn't like she's, you know, sitting there rocking with any form of sort of cage paralysis or anything. She's apparently quite a well-adjusted young lady.
The team have already decided which group of chimps Kiki is going to live with back at the park.
We have enough information with her age and size and gender and everything to realise where, you know, where we feel her best option is, which is what we've chosen is Hanana's group. And then, really, that's as far as I'm going to take it. I mean, the rest is in the lap of the gods. I mean, we'll see. That's down to them. And you cannot make person A like person B.
For the flight home, John will give Kiki a light sedation to keep her calm.
The only real issue is to work out how we can inject her, how we can dart her without her hiding in this little night den or, you know, evading our best efforts to knock her down. But I don't know, this is rather reassuring.
Banging and crashing on this
It'd be a very bad idea.
is not going to help. You're going to be really angry with me when I attack this with a big hammer.
The team need to get Kiki out of her cage and into her transport box. But they've discovered the cage door has rusted and won't open, so it's going to need some brute force.
You don't think that door's going to open?
It's going to open, it will open, but it's going to be noisy to open, so a lightly sedated Kiki might just think, oh, I'm going to wake up again.
Nothing's ever straightforward on these. Getting her into the transport box has to go smoothly. Fingers crossed.
At Monkey World, all the chimpanzees live in large social groups as they would in the wild, which means there's always someone to play with. Hanana's group are all quite young and lively. The team are hoping that one chimp in particular will be able to help Kiki settle in. Patricia.
I think there are several females in this group that are very friendly and potentially a good first introductions, but we chose Patricia for a number of reasons. Partly her and Kiki's background is not dissimilar. And also, Patricia's been here for 6 years now, so although she had a slow start, she's now quite a solid member of the group, and we've used her in the numerous introductions that we've had since her arrival.
Like Kiki, Patricia was smuggled from the wild for the illegal pet trade and spent the first 6 years of her life living in a small cage on a patio on the Spanish island of Fuerteventura. Jeremy and the team brought her back to live at the park. It was difficult at first because she wasn't used to being with other chimps, but has settled in well.
I would describe Patricia as a fun-loving chimp, a playful chimp, a very sweet-natured chimp who really brings out the best of the other individuals in the group and really is an integral part of the group now at Hanana's and really encompasses everything that Monkey World's about because she's come from a deprived background and she's now in a social group and doing really well.
It'll be important for Kiki to get on well with leader Hanana. Patricia found this relationship difficult at first, but now they're the best of friends.
I think at the beginning she was moving away from him because she was very fearful and that frustrated Hanana. Now she actually welcomes his proximity and she brings out his playful side. You know, we often see Hanana and Patricia play and that's really nice to see the dominant male have those down times when he's relaxed and he's not having to worry about the stress of running the group.
So all eyes are going to be on Patricia for the next few days.
I think we're optimistic that she will make that very important first contact. It's going to be the first contact that Kiki's had with chimps for many, many years. And that physical contact is important, and it's important to do it quickly as soon as Kiki arrives. We're confident Patricia's the right one to go with first, but we'll just have to wait and see.
In Beirut, the team are making final preparations to transport Chimp Kiki back to the UK. At her hotel, Alison is sorting through last-minute paperwork.
Last night I was lucky enough to be able to sit down for an hour or so and meet Kiki's owners, and you know, they've been very nervous because they're worried that people will criticize them for having the chimpanzee. But what you got to remember is they were the ones that contacted us. They want Kiki to have a good future with a family of her own kind, and we can help them do that. And she gave me some baby photos, which are just fantastic. So by looking at them And knowing that the owners had her for 7 years, we can estimate that Kiki's 9 to 10 years old, which is interesting because she's actually quite a small chimpanzee, but that might be because she's led such a limited existence in that small cage. She hasn't really been able to develop fully. So it's always interesting what you learn when talking to the previous owners about the animals' backgrounds, and nice to see some baby photos.
Wildlife vet John Lewis has decided Kiki will need a full anaesthetic so the team can get her out of the rusted cage and into the transport box.
Well, we don't want to make up the darts in front of the cage because it's just an extra unusual event that could excite Kiki, wind her up. She may have seen darts made up before, I don't know. And if she has, she knows what is coming. So, because you always get a better, smoother, safer anaesthetic if the animal is not excited, we're going to make it up here.
Transporting a chimp across the world is never straightforward. But this rescue is particularly difficult because Lebanon has not signed up to CITES, the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species. This means that the Lebanese government has had to agree with the UK authorities to let Alison take Kiki out of the country.
Nervous time because I'm just hoping and assuming that we've got everything done, because the whole journey and getting her on board the plane could fail at the last minute if any one of these papers isn't just perfect. We came a couple of days early just to make sure that all of these I's were dotted and T's crossed, and I think we're there now. It's time for Kiki to come to Monkey World.
It's early evening in Beirut, and the time has come to take Chimp Kiki to the airport for the start of her long journey back to the UK. The team are anxious. They need to anaesthetise the chimp so they can get her out of her rusted cage and into the transport box. They're also keen not to attract too much attention because they don't want Kiki getting overexcited.
You happy, Jeremy?
He's out with her right now. Jeremy, are you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yep.
John doesn't want Kiki to see the dart gun in case it upsets her. He needs the chimp to be as calm as possible so that he can get a clear shot.
So you can see the dart, Jeremy.
Yep, she's got hold of
Bit
it.
enough.
Done.
We're trying to keep everything quiet and calm around here so that now she'll actually start falling asleep. So we're hoping within the next 7 to 10 minutes she'll go down, and then we'll have to break into the cage. So now it's just a waiting time, but Jeremy's over there keeping an eye on her. So.
As soon as Kiki is asleep, Jeremy gets to work with an angle grinder.
Good.
It's the only way to get Kiki out of the rusty cage. John and Jeremy work quickly. They only have 10 minutes before Kiki starts to wake up.
All good. Let's give it a once over.
While she's anaesthetised, John does a quick health check. He puts a lubricant in her eyes to prevent them from drying up.
This is always, for me, the most stressful time. I want to see Kiki fit and healthy and up, so John's telling us to be quiet, so I think that we best take heed, but it's looking really good so far.
John takes bloods and inserts a microchip under her skin. As she begins to stir, they waste no time in getting her into the travel crate.
she was getting light, and I think the moving stimulated her a little bit, so she's starting to move ahead a bit. I mean, she's now had a reversal drug, a reversal agent to actually get her up, but she's also had a little bit of a tranquilizer so that her journey in the plane is so much more calm for her. So she'll probably be very groggy, but yes, I think she'll get up now.
John really got the anaesthetic dose just right, and she went down really nicely, and the length of anaesthesia was exactly what we needed. I keep telling him he'll get it right one day, and it was exactly right. And she woke up just when we were ready to put her in the box, and if you see now, she's good. It really was a good job.
And in a few hours' time, we'll pick her up on the back of a lorry and straight off to the airport. Next stop, Monkey World in Hananya's group. So really pleased she's going to have a family of her own.
There have been several new arrivals at the park this year. One is overweight O'Sheen. The big orangutan has had a tough time settling in, but is finally beginning to shine. Today, she's having clicker training, or operant conditioning. This is where the primates are taught to present different parts of their bodies in return for treats. It's important because it means the staff can do health checks and give injections more easily.
O'Sheen, do you want to come in here? Come on. Good girl. Cute skinny lady.
13-year-old O'Sheen came from South Africa, where she was brought up with humans.
Hello, darling. How you doing?
She doesn't know much about orangs, but she does understand people.
She came in at about 100 kilograms at the airport. She's actually lost 20 kilograms since she's been with us, so she's doing really, really well on her new diet. Today we're going to be doing a little bit more training with her, with the operant conditioning. She's quite a clever girl, and she knows quite a lot of things so far, so we'll see how we get on with her. And?
Good girl.
Tasty banana. Thanks. And?
Good girl.
O'Sheen makes light work of the clicker training, although obviously it helps that there's food involved.
Yeah? Good girl. She needs a lot of things to enrich her life here, to keep her happy. So the more regularly we do things like operant conditioning and enrichment for her, generally I think the more happier she is. Good girl.
O'Sheen's diet has changed radically since arriving.
When she first came to us, she looked at sort of things like carrots, and especially the greens, turned her nose up and just didn't want to know, didn't understand what it was that she was eating, I think. But she's eating pretty much everything we give her now. And I think after initially losing the sort of fatty foods in her diet that she was having, she's really enjoying all the food. As you can see, she's looking at the bowl right now, trying to see what she's getting next.
In Beirut, Kiki's on the transporter which will take her to the airport.
Steamy in there anyway.
The biggest concern for the team now is to keep her as calm as possible. If she's agitated and noisy, she won't be allowed onto the flight.
Yeah. I can see a huddled mass under a blanket.
She's under a blanket.
John has only given her a light sedation for the journey because it would be too dangerous for her to be fully anaesthetised. She could choke if she was to slump the wrong way whilst she was in the cargo hold. She needs to be conscious but calm.
She's slept well overnight. She looks quite good. I think we're probably more tired and nervous than she is, but at least we're here and we're unloading her now, and soon we'll get her boarded onto the plane.
Take that off now.
Jeremy wants to make sure Kiki has enough air in the box.
Because it's fogging up in there, I want the air to move around.
Once we get her settled, we can always lift the door off for a minute and see what it's like in there.
Workers at the airport are all keen to catch a glimpse of this unusual cargo. This point in a rescue is always a tense time for Alison, as she knows if any of the paperwork isn't correct, Kiki won't be allowed out of the country.
I think we've got it labelled with all of her appropriate documents. I think we're ready to go now. I've weighed the box. I'm not sure what the grand total was on that. It'll be about 300 and probably 30 kilos, I expect. But so nice, big, strong box. She's got comfortable in there. Bit angry right now because there's so much activity, but we'll get her inside and settled down. Should be good.
The team have been given special permission to go airside at Beirut to make sure Kiki is loaded safely. Jeremy wants to give Kiki food for the journey.
Medicine? Food.
Food.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Good. Yeah, good. Good, darling. Good girl. Good girl. I'm just going to load her up with some breakfast here to just keep her going. It's a good girl. You good girl.
And he makes sure she has enough water so she doesn't get dehydrated. For the next 5 hours, she's going to be on her own in the cargo hold. It'll be an anxious time for the team before they can check on her again at Heathrow. Next time on Monkey Life. Kiki has a rude awakening when she arrives at the park.
All of that's a little bit intimidating for a person.
And bedtime blues at Paddy's when grouchy Grisby tries to take Kay's bedding.